It has been 2 months. High Horse is shaping out to be maybe one of the best K-pop songs of all time, in my humble opinion, and I want to tell you why I think so. What's so meaningful to me about this song is that there's really nothing to High Horse that is concealed. No hidden messages that are, shrouded beneath an otherwise overly manufactured cover that is hard to access. You don't need to look beyond the song's surface to glean for meaning or understanding, which is incredibly on theme narratively that this song presents itself exactly as it is. The song opens with Haewon singing simply, quote, "Sick of that high horse, I just can't take it no more," where the phrase riding on a high horse refers to a selfish amount of arrogance, a person who rides above the others and thinks of themselves as better. Interestingly though, we never really find out who's riding on that high horse. It's never explicitly stated, and Mix just says that they're sick of it. It seems likely to infer that the people in the world around you are who's on that high horse. The people who mischaracterize you and your intentions do so out of their own arrogance, their own insecurities. But another interpretation that I personally find more interesting is that we, as the subject of this story, are the ones on the high horse. The lyrics keep up with this idea, as NMIX asks us to ride together to the front line, to, quote, end up where we're meant to be. We're lyrically already on some kind of horse. We're meant to ride somewhere that is right for us, and I think the leading sentiment to the song is simply to use that horse to ride towards a place or idea that realizes you and your own self-worth. So we are the ones riding on a high horse. For some reason or another, the world has mischaracterized you as arrogant for putting yourself first, making choices in your life that see to your own well-being but may not serve the interests of others. People who selfishly would have you stay or behave a certain way, to conform to societal standards or do something that would benefit a larger collective at the cost of your own happiness or sense of fulfillment. So in this way, NMIX is sick of the idea of a high horse, sick of being mischaracterized as selfish or arrogant because they decided to choose themselves. All of these ideas speak to larger narratives in NMIX's story, in terms of their lore, but also real-world applications. The universal sentiment pushed by this group and their music is one of independence, rejecting conformity if that doesn't match with who you perceive yourself as. So no matter who's on that high horse in the scenario, the main idea here is simply that our narrator wishes to coax you as the listener out of complacency. The ultimate killer in a lot of ways. Maybe there's something you've been putting off, things in your life that have caused you to severely neglect yourself and what you want. Quote, "Let's ride to the front line to end up where we're meant to be." A simple enough sentiment, but charged with a profound dimension to it. The word frontline often refers to the very front of the line of a battle, whether it be physical or metaphorical. The people who are on the front line have the most important role of defending or achieving something. Whatever it is that you want or the person that you want to be, of course, will not be easy to attain. There's a reason why necessary and obviously beneficial change is so easy to put off, to neglect ever starting down that path at the cost of your own happiness. Putting yourself first requires a hefty sacrifice. I believe this idea, this sense of turmoil, the cost of sacrificing aspects of who you are right now, is where the instrumentation comes in to help develop our narrative even further. High Horse presents itself initially as a piano-driven, poignantly introspective ballad. This quickly changes in the first verse, where our piano refrains are interrupted by sudden drum breaks. As surprising as they are, they feel oddly well placed. They feel necessary, like a brief shaking of the head as you process your own feelings. It breaks up the narrative tension in the verses as our narrators explain to us how sick they are of comparing themselves to arrogant cowboys, forever riding on their high horses and never coming back down to the ground to meet everyone else as equals. As for whether or not we are the arrogant cowboy in question, the person who has become detached from the world and exists in a state of arrogance likely caused by us feeling trapped, those drum breaks work as a subtle but pointed reminder from NMIX that things will never change as long as our fixation remains on that high horse. The verses instrumentally work to capture the sense of uncertainty that comes from looking away from arrogance and realizing that you are the caretaker and rider of the horse that is your life. The chorus in turn is maybe the darkest moment of the song, an honest and realistic moment of consideration. The chorus reads, quote, "Heartbreak, I'm sick of it, unbearable every morning, run away from the suffocating frame." Kyujin, Lily, and Haewon singing "So Let's Ride to the Front Line" in the lush and expansive pre-choruses feels like more of a plea rather than a suggestion to simply pull yourself together. It's time to focus on what you want, but importantly, our narrator knows the decision made in your own interests will never be an easy one. Again, you may be perceived as the arrogant cowboy. People may never understand your decision to put your own happiness first and will grow to misunderstand and mischaracterize you as selfish. The song ends with the same sentiment as the first, Soyeon singing, quote, "Sick of that high horse, our minds just don't work like theirs." Again, so many ways you could take this, but generally, the base level meaning seems to be about nonconformity. Existing to serve a greater collective may be fine for some people, but that doesn't mean it will be fine for you. I think that's why High Horse isn't just simply a ballad. You can't rely on quiet moments of introspection to get you where you need to be. There's a very important reason why necessary change is difficult and so easy to avoid or put off. This song, in both writing and instrumentation, shuffles restlessly between very extreme ideas, emotions, and thoughts. It is the chaos of uncertainty, the fear of the unknown, the abandoning of what's familiar. All in all, High Horse is a masterclass exercise in sheer artistic ability, a reminder that both NMIXX and Squad know exactly what they're doing. This song pushes K-pop to its limits in ways that matter and are meaningful. An orchestral leading ballad that musically transforms to capture its own feelings of uncertainty. It could very easily be my song of the year, unless someone else doesn't come up with something quick. I love it so much. I cannot stop thinking about it. But yeah, I think these are all of my ideas that I wanted to discuss. Thank you for watching this. If you did, let me know what you think about this song. Do you have a similar or different interpretation of High Horse, and so on? Yeah, thanks again for watching. Subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time.